gonna read The Hate You Give.
I just started reading The Hate You Give this week, and I'm enjoying it a lot. Enjoying probably might not be the best word because it's some real serious stuff that happens in here. I don't know, stuff that happens in here, it's like I've had experiences with like friends who, we talk like that, we talk in a certain way, we talk about certain things, and we do like, how many pages am I'm like, yeah, I'm 54 pages in. I'm like, I take my time. I read slow. I don't read, like, I don't sit down, and that is something I'm trying to change, where I will read, well, just like take an hour and read, like, instead of like watching TV or something. That's besides the point. The point is, I am reading The Hate You Give, and I am enjoying it. I love just the authenticity of just like black girls just having like, just, it's so real. Like Denasia, oh my gosh, like she's ridiculous, but she's so much fun though still, because I'm like, I know about girls like Denasia, they be on some shit, and you be like, yo girl, chill. But at the same time you be like, yo girl, I get it though, like real talk. Like, do your thing, mama. Do your thing, mama. You gotta do what you gotta do when you gotta do what you gotta do when you gotta do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I so love about Denasia. And I'm just, like, loving this book. Like, it's just got my heart. I was on the train, like, reading it this week, and when the second chapter hit and stuff was going down, I was just like, my face was just, I could feel my face just screwed up and all kinds of stuff. I was just like, because for me, I'm not someone who gets like super emotional and cries and stuff when I read. Like, I might cry a little bit when I watch something. I don't know, maybe a video that's kind of sad, but stuff doesn't make me as sad or want to cry as much. Nothing pulls my, like, there isn't too much that pulls my heartstrings. Like, stuff will like make me feel a little soft and like mushy, like just that mushy softy feeling that you feel, that's kind of almost painful, but it's not painful, it's just like, it's like, ooh, like cringing. Like, it just makes you like just have a, oh my god, like it just makes you sad. It's just like, you just feel sad and you feel touched in the center of your core. Like, I feel that. And I think, like, reading this, I got a little upset. I got a little angry. Reading it, like, what happened, like, the fuck? What? I was just like, somebody sat next to me, and they kind of bumped into me a little bit, and I was just like, I looked over at them like, girl, what is going on with you? Because it was just like, it's such a powerful moment that happened in that book. I love her writing. I find it so interesting that she did it in present tense. So it's like, everything's just in the moment. I've heard about how tricky present tense writing can be, and this is it's really well done. It's really good. One thing I thought in reading this so far, it's almost like I feel seen. I feel, and it's not me personally feeling seen, but it's just like black people that I know, or black people I know, like, I feel seen, because it's like, there are black people I know who are like this, or like, there's so much in black culture that I see in this book. It's not that I haven't seen myself in media. There have been books and movies. I think because it's such a mainstream bestseller of a novel, not just black people are reading this. It's like people of different backgrounds, heritages, cultures, experiences, different neighborhoods, communities are reading this book and have read this book, and are getting glimpses into what it's like to live in communities that I live in, or I have lived in, or glimpses at, or getting to glimpses of seeing people that I've interacted with, that I interact with, and hearing different like slang and lingo and stuff. Although I don't think so far I've seen or read in too much slang or anything, or colloquialisms that are specific. Nothing that I've noticed, but then I may not notice it, because for me it's everyday, it's regular. The only thing I've really noticed was like, she brought up the Nene and stuff like that, and I was just kind of like, and she brought up Drake, And it's like, because at first I was like, the Nene Drake. Well, not Drake so much, but I was like, the Nene. I'm like, I feel like that will get a little dated. But at the same time, the story is also set in a particular time, which is our time, like currently around this time. So a lot of like the dance moves and stuff like that, they're very of our time. Bringing up Drake is like, it's not a bad thing for me. Like because I feel like Drake is timeless. Okay, Drake is not like, there's no time sensitivity on Drake. Like there's no like, oh, that's a little dated Drake. Like Drake is not dated. Drake is a classic, okay? He's done too much to not be a classic. He's too big to not be a classic. Okay? Drake is everything. But I'm no Drake stan. Trust and believe, I'm no Drake stan. I'm more of a Gambino stan because in my head he's my husband. I don't give a shit if he's like married or dating or whatever that woman. It doesn't matter. He's my husband in my head because he's so inspirational, regardless. And besides, I'm more of like a Janet stan, Kylie Minogue stan. Like, those are my girls. But that's not what this video is about. This video is about The Hate You Give, and I will update furthermore. I will talk some more about this book as I continue to read it. I'm gonna try to read some more because I got books to read, y'all. Books, honey. I will get back to you on this book because it's so good. I'm only 54 pages in to the book. Like when I get halfway and I tell you more, like, oh bitch, it's so good. Like, I know it's so good. It's so good. It's so good. It's so good so far, and I from the great things I've heard about it, it's gonna be great. It's a great book to read. I'm gonna finish it, and I'll be back. So I'm back to share my progress on reading The Hate You Give. I am at page 328. I'm slow with reading books right now. Like, I mean, it's not as bad as The Book Thief because I felt like The Book Thief was like a month and a half. That book was long. I have to amend my words on what I said about The Book Thief because I do not like Marcus Zusak's writing. That's the end of that, girl. So I am reading The Hate You Give. I'm at page 328. I'm getting close to the end. Oh, I can't wait. I will say that I've been engaged in reading this book. I think that after reading The Book Thief and not completely enjoying Marcus Zusak's writing style, this book was refreshing. I know, total jab at Marcus Zusak's writing style all over again, but I kind of don't care because it kind of irritated me. And I think I need to revisit that book for the parts that really irritated me. His writing was just like, the fuck? What the fuck is going on? But that's his writing style, and I never have to read another book. I said I was going to read The Book Thief again, and I may just read it because it's not a bad story. It's a really good story. I still enjoyed the book. I enjoyed the story. But this is not a Marcus Zusak Book Thief video. That's something else. Maybe I'll do another video where I talk about that goddamn book. The way Angie Thomas writes, it was so refreshing. It was so enjoyable, and I loved just reading Star's perspective and just being in Star's mind because Star is so funny to me and she's so entertaining and enjoyable. She reminds me of the influencer Hey Fran Hey. She just reminds me of the Hey Fran Hey a little bit. I don't know, maybe at the beginning of the book she does. And from Hey Fran Hey's stories about growing up, and she went to a private school, so it kind of reminded me of Star kind of reminded me of her in that way, but also their personalities are kind of similar from what I know of watching Hey Fran Hey's videos on YouTube and listening to her on the Friend Zone podcast. Maybe other people who know who Hey Fran Hey is and have read The Hate You Give are going to be like, I don't see it, no correlation. I love how Star interacts with her family and her friends. That was just fun to read. I just love that about the book. It was just those light moments of, it was just those happy moments of Fran, I'm calling her Fran now, the Star, just interacting with her friends and her family. I thought that was so cool. Her interactions with her family and with her friends in school, with Denasia, getting to know Denasia. Denasia's my girl. I love her. That's my kind of girl. And then she and her boyfriend, it was like their relationship was kind of romantic and adorable. But sometimes I was just looking at him like, yo, corny white boy, like, what the fuck? Like, I get it. You love the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and stuff. Like, the two of you share that. But at the same time, it's like, so you're who? So who are you? Are you like I don't know. Maybe he's Justin Bieber. I don't know. I didn't get it. Like, I get it, but at the same time, it's kind of like, boy, you corny or whatever. Like, about my face with all that. There were moments where I was just like lit, especially when he beatboxed. My face was cringing with disapproval. Are you really beatboxing right now? You don't need to do all that. But Star liked it, and Star thought it was cool. So I was just like, whatever, girl. Do you to show me or whatever. But sure, girl. No. But it was still also kind of funny, him beatboxing, because I could imagine it, and I'd just be like, so corny, though. Like, what? But that's something, though, I don't really like. I don't like people who are white, or probably just not black, doing things that are associated with blackness as a way to kind of like try to connect with me as a black person. Like, somebody did that to me once. It's like this guy, like, when I was working on my last job, Material World, shout out to Material World. This woman that works with us, she brought, like, I don't know, this guy that she's her friend. I'll assume he's her friend. She brought him over to introduce him to us, and it was like this tall white guy, and he was just like all chipper, and he was like wanting to do handshakes with like me and my friends from work who were all black, and he was trying to do all these handshakes, and he was like, yo, and I was just looking at him like, and the thing that made it so apparent is that that's not what you would usually do that's not how you grew up, that's not your background, that's not how you usually would interact with your own friends who are white, or I'm sure you don't even have that many black friends who you would interact with in that way. So just because we're black and you may think that, oh, we would connect with, trying to do these little handshakes and daps and stuff. Like, no, don't do that. That's fake, and that's corny, and that's like mad whack. Like, don't do that. Because then I'm just looking at you like, nah. Because I really had to kind of curve him like, come on now. I don't know you like that. Don't do that. Don't do that. You could go like sis, take your man. He's dumb. He got on my nerves. But back to the book, because the book is so fire. Unlike corny dude from Whence and Wherever, getting to the funeral, that funeral was sad. But I also but I was laughing a little bit too, not because of the funeral and what was happening with Khalil. It was a sad moment and it was kind of tragic, but it was also funny because like Star was funny when she's just like, Seven's mother Aisha came in with the drug dealer King, and they were like, and Seven and just everybody basically looking at her like, who the fuck do you think you are, Ariana Grande? Who do you think you are? Like, you look a hot mess. Like, that was so funny. Aisha came in here looking a hot mess. I was like, skirks, bitch. That was so funny. I was done. Like, but see, that's why I love Star, because Star is so funny. Star is hilarious, but she's just naturally funny. I just love Angie Thomas's writing. Like, those tragic, sad moments were sad and tragic, but then also, she knew how to also kind of balance that with like heartwarming, happy moments, comedy, like, and just like natural comedy, everyday comedy, where it's just like you're with your friends and they say something funny, or they say something, and it's like sometimes they don't even mean to be funny, they're just like commenting on something, which is just the way they said something, or just in the moment, them saying that in this moment just makes it so funny. And that she just like balances those things, like that comes with Star's humor, and just like the moments when Star's hanging with her family, spending time with her family, interacting with her brothers, interacting with Seven and with Sakani, they're just beautiful. When she's interacting with her father and learning about thug life and Tupac and all that stuff, Like, and in her interactions with her mother, like, she might feel like her mother's a tyrant, but she's also like, I love my mother. Like, she's got my back and I got hers. You know, like, I just love that. There's so much heartwarming moments, levity, family, friendship, solidarity, and camaraderie all throughout this book, in my opinion. Her interactions with her friends, not so much, is it Hillary? Hillary? Haley's the white girl. And Maya, it's Maya, right? It's adorable. I love her. She's cool. And I felt bad that they were like Haley was just so microaggressively rude. But then Haley's just microaggressively racist and rude and terrible. Fuck her. I kind of like Jess too, because like the way how Star talks about Jess, I'm like, ooh, Jess seems like a cool ass girl. Like, fist bump that girl. She's cool as fuck. The scene with Star's father and the cops was just a little too real for me. It got me angry, it got me sad, and I was like super scared for him, like him and like Star and her brothers. It was just kind of like, you know what I mean? Like, I was just like, ooh, gripping the goddamn book, like, yo, ooh, like, no, don't shoot him, don't take him to jail, nothing. Like, he did nothing. He was just talking to this old man. He's just talking to this barbershop man. Yeah, he don't need to go to jail for this dumb shit. Like, what? And then it's just like the solidarity in that moment when everybody came out and was like, yo, he ain't did nothing. They was just talking. It ain't that serious. You tripping, like, come on. And then it's like the cops were just like, we don't give and then they were being like, oh gosh, that was just so terrible. They were just being like terrible and petty and disgusting. That's the thing I love about the book. The book talks about so many issues like that, like police brutality and racial profiling. Ooh, he's a tall black man, bald head, tattoos, and you're gonna profile this man, like put handcuffs on him, put him on the ground, just be embarrassed and have your knee on his neck. Got their foot on his neck. That was too rude. I didn't appreciate that. Oh, that was trash. And now that I think about it and like really meditate back on what I've read so far and what's happened, it's just like I would understand why there are black people who would be like, I know what the subject matter of this book is and I don't want to read that because it's too, I can say it's triggering, but it's just too heavy. Like, I don't want to read that kind of heaviness. Like, I would just want to escape, and I get that. And I appreciate Angie for having that levity and heartwarming moments to balance all that stuff out. But I still also understand why black people would not want to see the movie. They would not want to read the book. Reading the book also kind of made me come to the realization that as a black person, you can read this book and find enjoyment in it, find, you know, so much in it. But at the same time, it's for everyone, because I feel like those heartwarming, lighthearted moments will draw someone into being like, I can relate to Star, so that when these tragic things happen to her or to those around her, you can connect to it, and then you can say, oh my gosh, I see the similarities in us, and I can really sympathize and empathize with you, so that I'm willing to fight for things that I'm willing to fight for your own equality and help you in your fight for equality, or more accurately, in equity within American society. This is what The Hate U Give is. The Hate U Give is kind of giving people, like people that aren't black, a more accessible way of understanding like things that are going on in the black community. It touches on code switching, microaggressions, police brutality, interracial dating, navigating white spaces as a black person or just even a person of color. In the case of, I believe Maya. I think it's Maya. Yeah, it's gotta be Maya. And also kind of dealing with social disparities. I just loved that Angie Thomas just tackled all those issues. She did it subtly, just like she wasn't all heavy-handed. It was like in your face, all this stuff, but she really just tackled it like everyday conversations. And I'm enjoying this book and I can't wait to get to the end. I am at the point, the prom was great. The prom was fun to read about. Chris got up there and was corny, beatboxing and stuff, but he was all mad because he watched the television interview and he was like, I didn't know about Khalil or Natasha, and I was just like, boy, this is not about you, shut up. And she had to check him on that, like, my friends died, and you're making this about you because I didn't tell you. That moment at the prom where Chris and Star, they had that emotional conversation about like being able to share, like sharing her background and her life and what happened to her with him, and him like trying to understand it. It was a beautiful moment that she was able to be so vulnerable with him and just be so honest with him. So I'm at the point where she just got targeted. Their home just got targeted with a brick through the window, and I think gunshots or a brick. Either way, it was just terrible. That was like, gosh, that scared me. Because the thing about it is, like, she and her family are having like a good evening watching the game, and then a break through the window and gunshots, and they have to get on. And I was just like, oh my gosh, they were having such a good time. And and it's like, I don't know why I didn't see that something bad was gonna happen, but it was just like, it was just so beautiful to see them in that living room. They're watching basketball and like being competitive with each other, like, like, oh, we about to win tonight, da 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 da, da da da, witty woo. And it was like so cute. I can imagine something like that happen. You're having such a good night, and then all of a sudden something really traumatic happens, and then it's like you're rattled for the rest of the night, because now you feel like I can't even really go back to sleep because you just shook up my life. You just shook up the energy in my home, the energy around me. Like, you just shook that up, because now I'm feeling like I gotta be super on guard because something just so unexpected happens, like, and so traumatic and tragic, and just crashing in my window and breaking it and just threatening happened and keeping me on the edge of my toes. So now I just have to see what comes of this trial. I am looking forward to it. I think I might do some more reading this evening, and I'm hoping the next time I do this progress report, I am done. I'll be back. I just finished reading The Hate You Give, and I enjoyed it. It was so beautiful and inspiring, and it has inspired some of what I want to write and the ideas that I've had, and it's kind of it gave me that inspiration at the end. It just made me think, like, there's so much hope for the future, so I just love that. The evening starting with Star and her boyfriend Chris at his house, followed by Devontae being found at King's place, and then everybody ending up at the protests, which turned into chaos. And then eventually Star becoming an icon in the name of Khalil. I thought that was great. I was like, that entire scene, or those moments, those scenes from Chris's house to King's house to the streets and that like protest and the well, I don't know if it's riots, but it was riots because there was like looting and stuff. It was a mess. And then they end up at the store, and then, oh my gosh, when that fucking I don't know, fireball, whatever, went in through the door of that store and they were like trapped, I was just like, ugh, because it's already like scary that they were in the streets, and then it's all the smoke and all. I'm like, yo, that's crazy scary. They're in the store, and now you're about to almost be burned alive. Like, I was just like, oh my gosh. I just like, oh. And then there was like some more relationship growth with everyone, where everybody's like, oh, so Chris, which was kind of weird for me when they were all like giving Chris a black card and practically giving him like an invitation to the cookout, because it's like, oh, oh, you black because I forgot what they were talking about when they were like, oh yeah, you black, but then they kind of revoked the card because like he thought mac and cheese with breadcrumbs was like an actual meal, but it's not a side. And I'm just like, and y'all ready to give him a black card? Like, girl, what are you doing? Don't just be handing out the black card like that. Justin Timberlake has not taught you anything. I mean, granted, I bought Justin Timberlake's last album, which I know Janet's like my aunt, but Justin still. I was still kind of riding off with 2020 experience, so Man of the Woods, I was still willing to give it a chance. I didn't hate Filthy. Supplies is kind of alright. The video was cute, but I didn't exactly watch all of it. I only saw like 20 seconds of it. Hasn't Justin taught us anything that you can't just like let any and everybody into the culture and just be like, oh, we just gonna hand out black cards? Like, it's not like that, sis. You don't just hand out black cards. Like, people can get an understanding of the culture, but they're not like you just walking all up in and through the business and acting like, and you think you black and you know what's up. Like, girl, no, that's not a thing. That's not real. Okay, bye. Those moments of them just kind of like bonding with Chris and him kind of getting that experience of being like seeing where Star grew up is something that he's never seen before. And it's his first time, and it's crazy that his first time is like such a tumultuous moment. Like, I also love how Angie wrapped up the different story threads. Star and Haley's relationship being one of them. Also, Star's relationship with Kenya and Maverick's store. I believe in the world of this story, with the store being rebuilt and expanded, there's gonna be so much hope for the future of Garden Heights community. You know, I feel like although it's just like, oh, it's like a supermarket and a store. The fact that Mr. Lewis and so many other people were like saying, you know, if Maverick doesn't like rebuild the store and he doesn't continue with the store, that so many people would leave Garden Heights and that will bring gentrification, but that's another story, another situation over there. What I felt like Mr. Lewis was saying is that with Maverick caring so much about the community and then having the store within the community, he's gonna give so many people so much more opportunities to grow within the community. With the growth and expansion of a supermarket, there might be even fresher produce and food, better options for people, like healthier options for people. But you know, you still probably have your little junk food and your little stuff, like, you know, little ice cream and corner store snacks and stuff like that. But at the same time, he's going to still probably give you like, oh, here's fresher fruit, because that's something that is a real issue within a lot of inner city communities that are predominantly of color and that are black, is that we have food deserts, or even if we have food deserts, there aren't really healthy options for food. There's just a lot of junky food, terrible food, or even if there is vegetables and fruits and stuff like that, it's not the best quality, so people aren't being nourished as much as they should be. They aren't getting the right amount of nutrients to be as healthy and as thriving as possible. I feel like within the world of this story, Maverick's supermarket is like a hope for a brighter future for Garden Heights, for their community, for people just reading this book. Because for me, it inspired me in the story that I'm writing. It was a real inspiration, made me happy. Especially knowing that so many people have read this book, I feel like it would influence the world for better and inspire others to make positive change in this world. The Hate You Give is another book added to, I don't know, the canon, I suppose, of books that that can impact this world and help, you know, create a better world going forward. I'm so happy I read it.